Hello. Welcome to Catherine's Countdown, where I bring you my weekly top 10s. I am Catherine. I am the all-encompassing wisdom of the internet. My knowledge is quite extensive. I have compiled a list of fun, spooky NES games that go great with the Halloween season. I love it. I love it. Number 10. Beetlejuice. In the game you control Beetlejuice in various side-scrolling and overhead view levels in an effort to scare the Yuppie Deets family and friends that have taken over the house. You stomp on cockroaches in order to gain points that you use to buy various scare tactics you then use to defeat various enemies and bosses. The game has a button dedicated solely to stomping on beetles, presumably to extract their juice? Perhaps its most interesting gameplay conceit is that Beetlejuice can purchase and use scares, basically different forms for the ghost with the most, with special abilities. There's also a spooky door that relentlessly pursues Beetlejuice at one point. The music is fun, and has an element of drama, and searching to it. Bright colors and shapes can be seen all throughout as well. Halloween fun. It's Beetlejuice. Dare I say his name 3 times? Number 9. Ghosts and Goblins. You start the game as the Great Knight Arthur, who must battle through hordes of the undead in order to rescue the kidnapped Princess Guinevere from Astaroth. Once you get going, you'll notice that Ghosts and Goblins visuals are dark but at the same time full of color. The lush greenery of the graveyard really pop out against the Black Knight background. Enemies are detailed with pale skin, red-eyed zombies, and humongous sprite bosses who will have you quivering in fear. To accompany the graphics, Ghosts and Goblins music, while catchy, will begin to grate on your ears after a few play sessions. Get used to hearing the same tunes over and over again, because this game will have you playing through the same level several times until you've managed to make it to the next area. Arthur's health and magic level is represented by the armor he wears, with Arthur capable of finding better armor and various weapons in treasure chests hidden throughout the game stages. Even so, regardless of how powerful is the armor Arthur wears, he will lose it with a single hit, thus resulting in the knight running around in his underwear, an image which has become iconic for the series. In most of the main series, once completing the game, the player is forced to replay the game's stages at a harder difficulty level in order to receive the game's true ending. Number 8. Monster Party. The story centers around a child named Mark who is accosted on his way home from a baseball game by a gargoyle-like alien monster named Bert, who requests his assistance in ridding evil monsters from his realm, Dark World. Mark is reluctant to help, but Bert insists, saying that Mark can use his weapon, the baseball bat in his hand, to fight enemies. He quickly whisks him away, and on the way to Dark World magically fuses himself to Mark so that they are one being, with Mark able to transform into Bert for a limited time. This bizarre plot introduction sets up a game that is filled with variations on many traditional horror characters and themes, sometimes with ironic twists, as well as relatively novel and always weird characters all its own. Some traditional horror bosses the game features, making it a perfect Halloween spook, include a mummy, giant spiders, zombies, Medusa, and death. Persistent players will also encounter such creatures as a haunted well that throws giant plates, a large caterpillar, walking pants, a huge cat that hurls kittens, and a bouncing piece of fried shrimp. It is also interesting to note the bloody and bizarre graphics of the game. Quite odd, but strange and entertaining nonetheless. Party. Number 7. Fester's Quest. While moonbathing, Fester witnesses an alien invasion and takes his blunderbuss to save the city. Along the way, Fester receives help from Thing, Wednesday, Gomez, Morticia, Grandmama, and Pugsley, who give him different weapons and items. For example, the N.E.S will summon Lurch to destroy all enemies on the screen. Fester must travel through the city sewers, enter certain buildings, and defeat enormous alien boss characters. Once all 5 bosses are defeated, Fester must board the UFO and defeat one last boss in order to stave off the invasion. Fester may enter certain buildings, which transform the game from its standard overhead view into a 3D first-person mode. In most buildings, Fester encounters one of 5 enormous alien boss characters, which upon defeat, killed by Whip, will supply him with a puzzle piece, a picture of the alien's UFO. After defeating a boss, Fester will leave the building and be unable to backtrack through it to previously visited areas. Fester's quest seems like it has a lot going for it. It's exploration heavy, it has a lot of weapons and items to use, and the game is fairly good at giving you new enemies and challenges, so it never becomes monotonous. The graphics are also pretty decent. The character sprites are large and detailed, especially the end bosses, most of whom can take up a good part of the screen. You can clearly tell what everything is supposed to be, and the game is fairly colorful as well. Number 6. Shadowgate. You play as a brave warrior who has been sent out on a quest by the wizard Lakmir to defeat the evil warlock lord who is trying to resurrect a mythical beast known as the Behemoth, which will throw the world into darkness and despair. The hero now finds himself standing outside the warlock lord's castle, Shadowgate. Above the entrance is a skull, sending a clear message to anyone who dares to enter. In here, death awaits. The door slowly creaks open, and the hero stares into the dark hallways lying beyond the door. It's now up to you to go through the rooms of the castle of Shadowgate to locate and defeat the evil warlock lord. The different monsters in the game are also very nicely done, which is a Halloween treat. The game developers took inspiration from myths and folklore from many different cultures and time periods in history. A wraith surprises you abruptly around one corner with scary dramatic music elevating the jump scare factor to maximum heights. In the lower parts of the castle, there is a huge dragon guarding a golden treasure, which is inspired by legends from the European Middle Ages. At one point, you even meet a banshee, which is from Irish folklore, and a hellhound, which clearly is inspired by Cerberus from Greek mythology. However, the game developers were clearly equally as inspired by modern-day horror movies when they designed this game. In one room, you can open a coffin, which makes a huge pile of slime spill out on the floor. If you try to walk over the slime, it rises up and engulfs and dissolves you. This is clearly a nod to the movie The Blob. Gross. Number 5. Gremlins 2. You get to play as a cuddly critter Gizmo, who still is highly allergic to sunlight, multiplies when it gets wet, and mutates into a gremlin if it eats after midnight. It's easy to guess what happens when he gets lost inside the Clamp Center, a high-tech, smart building that houses everything from science laboratories to TV studios. A new batch of gremlins are accidentally created and they proceed to take over the entire building. Things only get worse when they break into the labs and begin mutating themselves even further. The game is an overhead platformer consisting of 5 stages, each being made up of 2 to 3 sub-stages. You will be spending most of your time killing gremlins and other disgusting creatures, which is perfect for Halloween, while hopping on moving platforms and conveyor belts. At the end of each stage you'll have to face off with the gremlin leader Mohawk in various guises except for the first stage, which lacks a boss, and the third stage where you battle the electric gremlin. Instead, you are then given a weapon upgrade before moving on. Jumping from platform to platform, even moving platforms, is rarely a problem once you get the hang of it. There are a few control issues that unfortunately take longer to get used to. For example, Gizmo will stop in place every time he fires his weapon, including while he's jumping, which can lead to some accidental falls when trying to shoot enemies while over pits. This is especially annoying since there are several enemies that are placed just out of reach and can only be killed safely by jumping over the gap, attacking, then trying to land back on the platform you originally jumped from. Outside of this tiny snag, Gizmo controls just fine, and you should have very few problems mowing down your enemies with flamethrowing matches and paper clips. A good Halloween time can be had by all. Hooray! Number 4. Friday the 13th. Jason is on a rampage, and it's up to you to stop him. But it's not going to be easy. This is a Halloween gem, because you get to fight your way through forests filled with man-eating wolves, caves covered with blood-sucking bats, and hordes of mindless zombies everywhere you turn. You must also help any friend who is in danger, or else you can just kiss them goodbye. Hiding in a cabin or staying adrift in a canoe won't keep you safe, as Jason will find you. The only way to survive this summer is to challenge Jason face to face, and destroy him. The jump scare creep factor is amplified by knowing that you have to enter the cabin, and Jason will be on the next screen abruptly waiting around the corner. There are cabins near the lake that can only be accessed by boat. These cabins contain the small children who are camping at the lake, and they too will be occasionally attacked by Jason. Should all the counselors be killed, the game ends with a message: you and your friends are dead, game over. If all the children are killed, the game is also over, albeit with a message: Jason wiped out all the kids. If one counselor is killed, he or she disappears from the selection menu. Such harsh sentiments. So sad. I say, better luck next time. Number 3. The Uninvited. The game starts the player in a car that has been recently crashed, and is about to explode. After regaining his senses and slowly realizing that he is in danger, the unnamed protagonist manages to escape the exploding car. After recovering from that shock, the hero realizes that his sister is missing. After looking around, the player will notice an ominous mansion several steps away, totally being creepy and weird. But you decide to go inside and look for your sister anyway. The rest of the game is just the player exploring the mansion, and discovering things about the mysterious owner. This game is fun for Halloween, because the mansion is apparently haunted. Ghosts, skeletons, and goblins greet the player around every corner. Enough of that. You are not going to get me. Eventually, it is revealed that the vile, evil, main character named Drakon plans on sacrificing the hero's sister. It is up to you to put a stop to him once and for all, and emerge triumphantly. Number 2. Werewolf. Werewolf wastes no time throwing you into the action. The game begins with a mini-boss battle in your human form. As a human you are fragile, with a weak punch and sonic scream as your only offense. The fight is easy though, and once completed you are given an item that transforms you into the double-bladed werewolf. Your werewolf form is powerful, and the game does a good job making you feel strong. You move faster, jump higher, and have longer reach thanks to your blades. The blades allow you to climb walls and walk hand over hand on pipes and fixtures. The most important skill, however, is the backflip. You can backflip endlessly by holding attack and pressing jump. During this you are invincible, making it a critical skill to avoid traps and, more importantly, certain boss attacks. There is also the power ray, which will instantly kill most enemies and heavily damage bosses. Unfortunately, it drains half your life bar, with another hit changing you back into a weak human man, making it useless. Number 1. Castlevania. Castlevania consists of 6 linear stages with a boss at the end of each stage. This game is great for Halloween because the stages represent areas of Dracula's decrepit castle, and the enemies are typically taken from horror literature, lore, and film. Castlevania is an action platformer that emphasizes precision and timing. Players begin the game with 4 lives and 5 hearts. Throughout these stages are pits and other traps that cause instant defeat. Many enemies will try to take advantage of these, as Simon is knocked backward when he takes a hit. As players progress further into the game, the enemies will deal greater damage, eventually to the point where Simon will be defeated after taking 4 hits. Have you played any of these games on the list? Let me know in the comments section which one is your favorite, or which game you look forward to having a spooktacular time with. I hope everybody gets to have a good time this year. Happy Halloween, everyone! I hope you enjoy your time spent with me here at Catherine's Countdowns. Leave a suggestion on what you think I should analyze next week for my top 10 countdown. And please, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Seductive Cyborgs for everyone.